Look at the mirror. Really, look at the man staring back at you. He looks exhausted, doesn't he? Not from working long shifts, not from lifting heavy weights. He is totally exhausted from running a mental marathon every single day. He is drained from trying to solve a puzzle that was designed to be impossible from the very beginning. You bring up a simple fact, a broken promise, a clear lie, a boundary she crossed. You do not yell. You speak softly. You use pure logic. All you want is a simple explanation and a tiny bit of ownership. But somehow, 45 minutes later, the entire room is upside down. She is crying, she is the victim, and you are the one standing there, apologizing, begging her not to be mad at you. You walk away from that conversation feeling like your brain has been put in a blender. You start to doubt your own memory. You ask yourself, wait, how did I end up taking the blame for the exact thing she did wrong? You are not losing your grip on reality. You are trapped inside an invisible, highly calculated psychological game. Today, we're opening the vault on one of the most dangerous mental traps a man can walk into. We are breaking down the deep psychology of a woman who is completely incapable of taking accountability. This is the woman who will twist reality, rewrite history, and burn your relationship to the ground just to avoid saying 3 simple words: I was wrong. If you do not learn how to spot this behavior and shut it down, you will spend the rest of your life absorbing the blame for mistakes you never made. You will slowly hand over your strength, your peace, and your manhood, one fake apology at a time. To understand this game, you have to understand her mind. When a normal, healthy adult makes a mistake, they feel a natural sense of guilt. They admit they messed up, they apologize, and they change their behavior. That is how the real world works. But for a woman who lacks accountability, admitting fault is not just uncomfortable, it feels like a total collapse of her identity. Her pride is incredibly fragile. In her mind, if she admits she is wrong, she loses all her power over you. Because she cannot handle the emotional weight of being wrong, her brain builds a massive shield. And her favorite weapon to keep you away from the truth is a tactic designed to confuse you until you give up. It is called the deflection flip. Let us talk about a real-life situation. Let us look at a man who lost this game. This is the story of David. David is a hard-working guy. He's loyal. He avoids conflict because he just wants a peaceful home. David was dating a woman named Jessica. Jessica had a habit of seeking attention from other men online. One evening, David was looking for a recipe on their shared tablet, and a message popped up. It was from a guy Jessica used to date. The message was entirely inappropriate. David scrolled up and saw that Jessica had been entertaining this guy's attention for weeks. She was hiding it. David felt a massive knot in his stomach. He was hurt, but he wanted to handle it like a man. He waited for her to sit down in the living room. He gently placed the tablet on the coffee table. He did not raise his voice. He said, "Jessica, I saw these messages. You told me you cut contact with him. Why are you entertaining this?" A woman with integrity would freeze, feel immediate remorse, and apologize for breaking his trust. Jessica did not do that. Jessica looked at the screen, and her face instantly hardened. She didn't defend the messages. She completely ignored the messages. She looked directly at David with eyes full of anger. She said, "Are you seriously spying on me? You're going through my private tablet? You don't trust me at all. You're so insecure and controlling." David was completely shocked. He took a step back. He said, "No, I was just looking for the chicken recipe. The message popped up on the screen." Jessica cut him off. Her voice got louder and more dramatic. You're always trying to find a reason to make me the bad guy. My last boyfriend never invaded my privacy like this. You make me feel so suffocated. I can't even breathe in my own house without you investigating me." And then the ultimate weapon was deployed: the tears. She covered her face, curled up on the couch, and started sobbing. She cried like her heart was broken. David panicked. His protective instincts kicked in. He saw the woman he cared about crying, and he completely forgot about the messages. He went over to the couch. He put his hand on her shoulder. He said, "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to invade your privacy. I'm just stressed. Please stop crying. I trust you." He apologized. He took the blame, and he comforted the person who just betrayed him. David is the loser in this story. He lost the argument, but the real tragedy is that he lost his dignity. By apologizing, he validated her toxic behavior. He sent her a clear, silent message: "If you break my boundaries and then cry, you will get away with it." You rewarded her lack of accountability. And from that exact moment, Jessica lost all genuine respect for him. A woman cannot respect a man whose reality she can control so easily. She views him as weak clay she can mold whenever she's in trouble. This is exactly how the deflection flip operates. When you confront her with a solid, undeniable fact, she refuses to address the fact. Instead, she attacks your method of discovering it. She attacks your tone of voice. She attacks your facial expression. She will say, "Why are you looking at me like that?" She will say, "You're always trying to start a fight." She will say, "I can't talk to you when you're being this aggressive, even if your hands are in your pockets and you are speaking in a whisper." She successfully changes the subject from what she did to how you are reacting to it. If you point out that she spent the rent on unnecessary luxury items, she won't talk about the budget. She will say, "You're so obsessed with money. You care more about pieces of paper than you care about my happiness." Suddenly, you're no longer discussing her irresponsible spending. You're suddenly defending yourself against the accusation of being a greedy, unloving partner. She took herself off the witness stand, and she forced you into the defendant's chair. This requires a very dark, very manipulative type of mental gymnastics. She has to convince herself that she is the victim. In today's society, the person who plays the victim gets all the sympathy and all the protection. If she admits she is wrong, she can paint you as the cold, mean aggressor who is hurting her feelings. Then her bad behavior is magically erased from the record.
Now, we need to look at the second major trap. This one happens in almost every relationship where accountability is missing. Let us call it the time machine trap. You're trying to resolve a problem happening right now, today. Maybe you caught her telling a lie about where she was on Friday night. You have the truth. You present it to her calmly. You say, "You told me you were at your sister's house, but your sister just called looking for you. Why did you lie to me?" She's cornered. There is no logical escape door. The evidence is tight. So what does she do? She reaches deep into her mental filing cabinet. She digs all the way to the back, and she pulls out a mistake you made 3.5 years ago. She points her finger at your chest and says, "Oh, you want to talk about honesty? Really? What about that time 3 years ago when you lied to me about how much that car repair cost? You hid the receipt from me. You are such a massive hypocrite." This is a smoke bomb. She throws the smoke bomb right in your face to blind your logic. When you hear this, your brain stops working for a second. You think to yourself, "Wait a minute, we already dealt with that car repair issue. I apologized for that years ago. I made it right. We moved past it. Why are we talking about a receipt from 3 years ago?" So you start explaining yourself. You start defending your past. You say, "That was 3 years ago. I told you I was sorry. That has absolutely nothing to do with where you were on Friday night." The moment you start defending the past, you have lost the argument. You fell for the smoke bomb. While you're busy waving away the smoke, trying to defend a closed case from years ago, she's quietly sneaking out the back door. You completely stopped talking about her lie. She derailed the train, and you willingly went off the tracks right along with her. A woman who cannot take accountability keeps a permanent mental scorecard. She remembers every single tiny mistake you have ever made since the day you met. She doesn't hold on to these memories because she's hurt. She holds on to them because they're ammunition. She stores your past mistakes like bullets in a magazine, waiting for the exact day you decide to call her out. When you corner her, she unloads that magazine to deflect the blame away from herself. You have to understand the massive, silent toll this takes on a man's physical and mental health. Living with this creates a heavy, dark fog in your mind. You start to doubt your own perception of reality. You start to think, maybe I really am too harsh on her. Maybe I'm creating the problems. Maybe I just don't know how to communicate my feelings properly. This is the true definition of gaslighting. Gaslighting is not just telling a basic lie. Gaslighting is attacking your reality so consistently that you actually stop trusting your own eyes and your own ears. When you share your life with a woman like this, you become totally emotionally exhausted. You feel tired all the time, even when you sleep for 8 hours. You lose your drive to succeed. You lose your passion for your hobbies. Why? Because your brain is constantly running on high alert. You're constantly trying to navigate an emotional minefield. You're always calculating your words, trying to figure out how to ask her a simple question without triggering a massive, dramatic explosion. You end up giving all of your masculine life force to managing her fragile ego, and that leaves nothing left in the tank for your own dreams, your own goals, or your own inner peace. She will constantly use the words feelings to destroy your facts. Men deal in facts. You sent that message. You broke that promise. You crossed that boundary. Women who avoid accountability deal in feelings. I feel like you're attacking me right now. I feel completely unloved when you speak to me in that tone. I feel like you're always judging my every move. Here's the ultimate secret she doesn't want you to know. You need to burn this into your mind right now. Her feelings don't change the facts. Just because she feels attacked doesn't mean you're actually attacking her. Holding an adult accountable for their actions is not an attack. It's a basic, mandatory standard of respect in any human relationship. But she uses her tears and her emotional breakdowns as a hostage negotiation. She's sending you a silent, powerful message. She's telling you, if you continue to hold my feet to the fire, I will cry, I will scream, I will make your life miserable, and I will ruin the entire weekend for both of us. Most men just give up at this exact point. They want the noise to stop. They want the peace to return. So they drop their hands and say, fine, whatever, it doesn't matter. Let's just watch television and go to sleep. But it does matter. Every single time you let her escape accountability, you give away a piece of your strength. You put another solid brick in the wall of disrespect she's building between the two of you. You teach her that your boundaries are made of paper and she can punch right through them whenever she wants. We need to break down the final and most confusing strategy she uses to avoid responsibility. It's the self-pity deflection trap. When you push her hard enough, when she can't deflect the blame onto you and she can't bring up your past mistakes because your record is clean, she will play her last remaining card. She will use extreme self-pity to disarm your logic. She will look at the ground, drop her shoulders, and let her voice go incredibly soft. She will say, "You know what? You're right. I'm just a terrible partner. I ruin everything I touch. I don't know why you even stay with me. I'm just broken and damaged. I should just leave so you can be happy." And just like that, the magic trick is complete. You're actively comforting the person who just betrayed your trust. It's a brilliant manipulation. She turns her own bad behavior into a reason for you to give her affection, hugs, and reassurance. But pay very close attention to what she did not say during that pity party. She didn't say, "I'm sorry I crossed that boundary. I'll figure out exactly why I did it, and I will take these specific steps to make sure I never disrespect you like that again." True accountability requires changed behavior.
A fake apology just requires tears and dramatic words. You must learn to spot the massive difference between true remorse and selfish regret. Regret is when she's sad that she got caught. Regret is when she's sad that you're mad at her and her comfortable life is being disturbed. Remorse is when she's actually broken by the pain her actions caused you, and she's desperate to repair the damage she did to your trust. A woman who cannot take accountability never feels true remorse. She only feels regret that the spotlight is shining on her flaws. This behavior doesn't magically get better over time. It gets worse. If you marry a woman like this, you're signing a legal contract to be the bad guy for the rest of your life. Every time the children misbehave, it will be your fault because you work too much. Every time the house is disorganized, it will be your fault because you didn't help enough. You will carry the heavy weight of two people's mistakes on one pair of shoulders until your back breaks.
I want you to think about how this affects your physical body. Carrying that much unfair blame raises your stress hormones. It keeps your nervous system in a constant state of defense. You start walking on eggshells in your own living room. A man's home is supposed to be his sanctuary, his place of rest away from the world. But with a woman who deflects everything, your home becomes a courtroom where you are permanently the defendant on trial. We are going to go much deeper into the solution. In the next part, we are going to talk about the winner. We are going to look at exactly how a high-value man handles a woman who tries to play these confusing, twisting games. I am going to give you the exact psychological tools and phrases you need to cut through the mental fog, stop the smoke bombs in their tracks, and force her to either take real responsibility or expose her true colors for good. We will talk about how to protect your mind, your peace, and your future from this specific type of manipulation. Keep your guard up because the solution is simpler than you think, but it requires you to stand firmer than you ever have in your life. Now, we must look at the exact opposite side of the coin. We need to look at the man who actually knows how to win this mental chess match. We need to analyze exactly how a high-value man handles a woman who tries to play these confusing, twisting games. Let us tell a story about a winner. We'll call him Marcus. Marcus had been dating a woman named Chloe for about 8 months. Things were mostly good, but Marcus noticed a very specific, dangerous pattern. Every single time there was a small disagreement, Chloe would somehow twist the conversation so Marcus was the one apologizing at the end. He caught on to the game early. He realized she had a severe, deep-rooted allergy to the words, "I am sorry." One evening, they had plans to go to a very nice dinner to celebrate his recent promotion at work. He made the reservations weeks in advance. He told her to be ready by 7. 7 o'clock comes, and Marcus walks into the living room dressed in a sharp suit. He looks at his watch. Chloe is still on the couch, staring at her phone, wearing old sweatpants. He says, calmly, "Our reservation is in 30 minutes. Are you getting ready soon?" Chloe doesn't even look up from her glowing screen. She says, "I don't feel like going to that place anymore. My stomach hurts a little. Let's just order some food here." Now, the old version of Marcus, the nice guy version, would have swallowed his massive disappointment. He would have said, "Oh, okay, if you're not feeling well, that's fine." He would have canceled his own celebration dinner just to keep the peace in the house and avoid her bad mood. But Marcus knows his value. He knows that canceling important plans at the very last minute without a real emergency is a massive sign of disrespect. He stays perfectly calm. He doesn't raise his voice a single inch. His heart rate doesn't go up. He says, "Chloe,
I made these reservations a month ago for my promotion. If you didn't want to go, you should have communicated that to me yesterday. It's highly disrespectful to wait until the absolute last minute." Instantly, Chloe deploys the smoke bomb. She drops her phone on the table. She glares at him with wide, angry eyes. She says, "Why are you talking to me like I'm a child? You're always using that condescending tone with me. You think you're so perfect just because you got a new job title." She's trying to change the entire courtroom. She wants to put his tone on trial so he doesn't have to answer for her blatant disrespect of his time. Marcus doesn't take the bait. He uses a psychological technique that you absolutely must learn today. It's called the broken record technique. He looks her dead in the eye, totally unbothered, and says, "We are not talking about my tone right now. We are talking about you canceling my celebration dinner at the last minute." Chloe panics internally. The smoke bomb did not work. He didn't get defensive. So she reaches deep into the past. She says, "Oh, so you want to talk about ruined celebrations? What about last year when you bought me the wrong gift for my anniversary? You didn't even care enough to remember what jewelry I actually like." Marcus doesn't defend himself. He doesn't explain the gift from last year. He stays entirely on track. He becomes a brick wall. He says, "We are not talking about last year. We are talking about tonight. You disrespected my time." Chloe is completely out of options. She can't deflect the blame onto him. She can't bring up the past to distract him, so she plays her final, most desperate card, the pity party. Her eyes well up with tears. Her lip starts to quiver. She looks down at the floor like a wounded bird. She says, "You're right. I'm just a horrible girlfriend. I ruin everything I touch. I don't even know why you're with me. I should just pack my things and leave you alone so you can find someone better."
She is waiting for Marcus to rush over, hug her, and tell her she is a wonderful person. She is waiting for him to rescue her from the deeply uncomfortable feeling of her own bad behavior. Marcus just stands there. He lets the heavy, awkward silence fill the entire room. He watches her cry for about 10 full seconds without moving a muscle. Then he speaks softly but firmly. He says, "I am going to the restaurant. If you want to put a dress on, meet me there and apologize for your behavior. I would love to see you. If not, I will see you tomorrow." And Marcus turns around, walks out the door, and gets in his car. He goes to the restaurant. He sits at the table. He orders a fantastic meal and a drink. He enjoys his own company. He does not text her to check in. He does not look at his phone to see if she called. 45 minutes later, Chloe walks through the doors of the restaurant. She is wearing a beautiful dress. She walks over and sits next to him. She looks at him, completely defeated but filled with a brand new, intense level of respect. She says, "I am sorry. That was very selfish of me tonight." Marcus won. He did not win by screaming. He did not win by calling her names or punching a wall. He won by absolutely refusing to participate in her delusion. He held the mirror of accountability up to her face, and when she tried to bat the mirror away, he just held it firmer. He showed her that her tears have absolutely zero power over his logic. He showed her that her tantrums will not buy her a golden ticket out of taking responsibility. This is exactly what you have to do. You have to become an emotional brick wall. When a woman realizes that she cannot manipulate you with her emotional storms, two things will happen. First, she will try harder. She will escalate the situation. She might threaten to break up. She might give you the silent treatment for 3 solid days. You must survive this testing period. This is her touching the electric fence to see if the power is really turned on. If you break the silence, if you go to her and apologize just to make the quiet stop, she knows the fence is broken. She will never, ever respect you again.
Second, if you hold your ground and survive the test, she will eventually submit to your reality. She will realize that the only way to remain in your life is to act like a mature, responsible adult. And believe it or not, this actually makes her feel incredibly safe. Women are highly emotional by nature. They are storms of feeling. They do not want to be with another storm. They want to be with a mountain. When she is spinning completely out of control, throwing blame everywhere, and you just stand there, calm, breathing slowly and unshakable, it signals to her primal brain that you are a strong, capable leader. But I have to warn you right now, there is a dark side to this that you must accept. Some women are so deeply damaged that they cannot ever take accountability. It is a severe psychological condition. If a woman has deep narcissistic traits, her ego will literally shatter into a million pieces if she admits fault. If you use the broken record technique and you walk away from the pity party and she still absolutely refuses to apologize, if she packs her bags and walks out the door rather than simply saying, "I was wrong," let her go. Do not chase her. You just dodged a massive bullet. Think about your future. If she cannot say, "I am sorry for spending too much money," or for being late, or for canceling a dinner, what is going to happen when something truly serious occurs? What happens when she totals your car? What happens when she is texting a male coworker inappropriately behind your back? What happens when you have children together and she makes a highly dangerous parenting mistake? If she cannot take accountability for the small things, she will completely destroy your life with the big things. She will betray you, and when you catch her with undeniable proof, she will look you dead in the eye and say, "I only did it because you were working too much. It is your fault." You cannot build a family, a business, or a legacy with a woman who lives in a total fantasy world where she is always the innocent victim and you are always the villain. You are a man. You carry the heavy weight of the world on your shoulders every single day. When you mess up at your job, your boss doesn't care about your tears. He wants results and a plan to fix it. When your car breaks down, the mechanic doesn't care about your feelings. He wants his payment. The real world holds men strictly accountable every single second of every single day. You deserve a partner who holds herself to that exact same high standard. Do not let society tell you that you must lower your standards and accept toxic behavior just to keep a woman around. Do not let society tell you that the phrase "happy wife, happy life" means you have to be a silent doormat who absorbs all the blame for her terrible behavior. A truly happy life comes from mutual respect, and there is absolutely zero respect without total accountability. The next time she tries to spin the argument and change the courtroom, I want you to remember the feeling of your feet planted firmly on the floor. Ground yourself. Breathe deep into your stomach. Do not let your heart rate go up. When she says, "You're yelling at me," whisper your response. When she brings up a mistake from 3 years ago, say, "We can discuss that tomorrow. Right now, we're talking about today." When she cries and says she's a terrible person, say, "I don't think you are a terrible person, but I do need an apology for this specific action." Be absolutely relentless. Be polite, be incredibly calm, but be entirely immovable. You will be amazed at how quickly the dynamic in your relationship changes. She will stop testing you so much because she knows the tests don't work anymore. She will start thinking twice before she disrespects you because she knows she will have to face the deeply uncomfortable reality of actually apologizing to you. You will reclaim your sanity. That heavy mental fog will finally lift. You will wake up feeling like yourself again. You will no longer feel like a hostage in your own home. Brothers, if you're watching right now, I need a small favor. My ex said I wouldn't even reach 100K subscribers. I need you to help me prove her wrong. Please hit subscribe, drop a like, and leave a comment right now. Let's show her what men can do. We are actively building a global community of men who see through the illusions. Men who absolutely refuse to be manipulated by emotional games. men who demand respect and give respect in return. I want to hear from you. This is a brotherhood, and we learn from each other's experiences. I want you to go down to the comments section and answer this very specific question honestly. What is the absolute craziest, most ridiculous excuse a woman has ever given you to avoid saying the simple words, "I am sorry"? Did she blame the traffic when it wasn't raining? Did she blame her zodiac sign? Did she somehow blame something you said 5 years ago in a different state? Tell me the story. Let us expose these deflection tactics so that the younger men reading the comments can learn exactly what red flags to look out for. Keep your vision clear and your boundaries made of iron.